Well, hello everyone again. I'm just getting back to the Quiver now that I've finished all my shopping. And again, gotta liberally wet it so that we can tool it. I'm trying to decide whether I should glue some cardboard to the back, and I think I am going to do that. Just in the space where it needs it. As you noticed, I glued the shiny side this time, and I used rubber cement instead of contact cement. So this should come off really nicely, and I'll probably use a leather conditioning brush on the back to pretty much smooth out everything, and you'll probably never notice that this was ever glued. Okay. Turn it back around and wet the leather. Well, I hope that was enough. Now just wait for it to dry back to its original color, and I can start hammering. Oop, missed a spot. Now I let it dry. Okay, well it looks like it has dried around the edges. So, just like with the last pattern, I'm going to start with a beveler. And they actually wanted me to use a different beveler around these edges on some of the flowers, but I have decided not to do that because that would cost me more money. So I'm just going to use the same beveler, and I'm going to go around all of the edges in this pattern right now. Well, it seems as if the water content has gone down and it's starting to get lighter. So I'm going to wet it again and go around the edge. Let it dry again, and now it's back to the hammering. Alright, well as you can see, I've done all of the outside lines. Did them all, and they look fairly consistent. Now if I'm going to show you, another place where I'm supposed to use that is on the flowers, but I'm not going to mess with the flowers right now. On the flowers, I'll have to decide which of these I need to bevel, because some of them are beveled and some of these lines are not. So I'll come back to that. Alright, well I'm going to follow this pattern and do the rest of the beveling as I see in the pattern, especially on the flowers. Okay, well it looks again as if the water content is becoming lower than it should be, so I wasn't able to get all the flowers done, but I guess I'll have to wet that section and do it again. In case you were wondering what I do when I wait for this silly leather to dry, because it usually does take 15 to 30 minutes, I play Call of Duty, which is a new game for me. I got a late start. I never wanted to play it, but now it's actually quite a bit of fun. Alright, it looks like I've got about half of this project's beveling done. Anywhere, the outside of course, but anywhere where something looks like it's above something, like this leaf, it looks like it's above it, so you bevel the piece that's next to it so that it stands out. The same thing anywhere that there's a vine. Let's see, this one. If you can see, the vine is under the leaf, so the vine gets beveled. Again, this piece coming off the vine was underneath this vine, but this piece right here was under it. So it's a giant maze of beveling. And some of these places you can't see yet because a lot of this is going to be backgrounding, but I'm leaving that for later since that helps me cover up my mistakes. So again, wet the leather and wait for it to dry, play some Call of Duty, and then hammer again. Well, now that I'm doing this in daylight, it's a little bit easier to see what I'm supposed to do. There's still quite a bit of beveling to do, and I think I'll get back to that. As you can see, I've hit the flower centers, and I've decided I was bored of beveling, so I'm going to start doing some backgrounding right now. There we go. You can see some definition there now. Looks pretty, doesn't it? Well, I have found the thing that takes actually the most time is having to wet and wait for the surface to dry every single time you get to a certain point. Well, as you can see, half of the backgrounding's done. Now for the other one. Now I'm going to use my cedar in a couple places where I think I need them. I am pleased.